Godox?
I'm James Mathers, a cinematographer and founder of the Digital Cinema Society. Godox asked me to evaluate a new light that they have, the KNOWLED LED MG1200 bicolor. So I gathered some colleagues, including Enrique Del Rio, Cameron Cannon, and Brad Haskell, to run the light through its paces and give some feedback. Here's what they had to say.
My name is Cameron Cannon. I'm a cinematographer, camera operator, and I do all kinds of projects, actually. Lately, it's been a lot of celebrity interviews, but in this business, you kind of have to be able to do a little bit of everything these days. Today, and in fact, the lighting I'm in right now, we have just shot an interview for the Digital Cinema Society, and we are testing the new Godox 1200Bi. It's a bicolor light. Can plug into a regular household circuit, Edison plug. Doesn't have to take special power, but it is extremely bright. Generally, we're pushing lights through full grid or magic cloth and using as large a source as we can. Sometimes it's an 8 by, sometimes 12 by, just to get a nice wrap around, a nice, soft shadows for the nose. And I believe we ended up only using this light at about 15 to 16% of its power. That's how bright it is. It just generally has a lot of throw and a lot of light left over. So if we needed to put it further back, put it further back. And it's also very versatile. You can use it with its parabolic front, which is what we're doing here. But you could also put on, they have attachments for a Fresnel front, which is pretty large size. It's a 12-inch diameter Fresnel. And that can flood and spot, which is sometimes very useful. If you wanted to use the Fresnel in the doors, the one thing that I like on this light, whatever they did with the Fresnel and the emitter, it has a real clean circle. So when you're spotting and zooming it, and you go and you look at where the light falls off right at the end before it goes away, it's a nice even transition. There's no weird chroma. It looks really good. Also a nice feature of being able to go, if you're shooting in a tungsten situation with tungsten light behind you, and you can adjust 3200 and make it white or close to white, or you can do like what we did in this instance, is we set our white balance higher than that so that it would warm up our tungsten lights in the background. One of the other nice features, having a real nice big, diagram of what you're looking at. It gives you not just a number percentage, but sort of a scale of where you're at on how much light and where your color temp is landing. Just intuitive, very intuitive. And then the ability to, use the Bluetooth from the phone and be able to get on a tablet or a phone and be able to make the same adjustments is pretty remarkable. The versatility of it is really essential, because sometimes you don't know what you're going to walk into. I mean, it's not like a stage every time. Sometimes you roll into an interview and it's, at a hotel and there's a window and you have to deal with it. And this light is capable of, just plugging into a wall outlet, and it's bright enough that it can deal with bright windows. Like, if we had to run the power up to 100%, you would have a lot to work with.
My name is Brad Haskell. I'm a Gaffer and a Camera Operator. And I bought this van a couple of years ago and started building out my Genie package, and quickly became aware that space is of a premium. And it's like Tetris, trying to get everything you own into one container. And so I'm always looking for lights or gear that are compact but multifunctional, so that I can use one light for multiple things. There's a lot of good features with this. I mean, the compact size of the case and the unit is nice. I like that there's a clamp for the ballast. I mean, it may seem like a simple thing, but to be able to connect the ballast to the stand is really awesome. And the lights are light enough that, if you have to slide the light a couple of feet, you can just pick the whole thing up and move it without having to worry about cables and ballast and all this. Being that this light is bicolor is a huge asset. Having the Fresnel attachment is nice. So if you need a little more control, the barn doors, being able to, make some cuts and slashes. That Fresnel is amazing to be able to go from a 45-degree beam down to a 15-degree beam on such a big light. It's great to have that kind of control. And the light's incredibly bright. I mean, that was the thing back in the day. We had HMIs to be able to run off of house power. You had to use an HMI, which were expensive and sometimes kind of finicky. And again, you had to gel them. They were daylight only. So to have something like this that's got the punch of an HMI, but bicolor control, wireless control, being able to add a lens to it, barn doors, all that makes it a huge asset.
My name is Enrique Del Rio. I'm a camera operator, Steadicam, and Phantom cinematographer. We used the Infinity Photo Optics macro lens with the accessory that gives us good magnification for some tests of a project I'm going to be shooting. So I'm playing with some great macro lenses, but they in general require a lot of light. And also to the fact that we're not shooting 24 frames, but 1,000 frames per second. So a constant light with no flicker is vital for us. When shooting high-speed cinematography, we help ourselves with the waveform monitor. Flicker happens too fast, the eye cannot see it. But when we slow it down by shooting a high speed, it could be seen as a fluctuation on brightness on something in our frame, and that's a deal breaker. This light proved to be solid. It offers, at least we had two of their accessories. We had the Fresnel and we had the reflector. We use the Fresnel because with using a macro lens and high speed, you need all the punch you can get, and the light delivered.
Here's an example of the MG1200 bicolor competing against a bright background, and you can see it definitely has no problem balancing.